Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, getting ready to do some squats, which I do every day, and of course I will film it for you guys as always. But God, this is kind of a facetious title. I'm basically talking about what's the magic secret to how Jason Blaha is gaining strength again, because my strength was down a bit last year, and I talked about all that before, what happened with that. But, it's funny because I'm going to say it as the magic secret because there's detractors and other people who really can't seem to grasp the fact that I'm gaining strength. Like, it's so bizarre to them that my strength is going up to acceptable levels again. And people are coming up with conspiracy theories about drilling holes in plates and all that nonsense. And the funny part is, it shouldn't even be a big secret. It shouldn't be unreasonable. What I'm doing is really so simple that it would technically work for anybody. It doesn't matter if you hate that person, if you dislike that person. It doesn't matter if they're lazy. It doesn't matter if they have bad genetics. It doesn't matter, guys, because there are no magic secrets to gaining strength. So what am I doing technically? This is going to be, what I'm really doing is more nuanced than this, but here's the simplest answer. And this answer will technically work for everybody, but there's an individual approach to it. What's the magic secret? I'm training as heavy as I can with good form, as often as I can do so while still recovering from it, focusing on big compound movements, eating a lot of food, and getting a lot of sleep. All right, that's my magic secret. That's it, magic secret. Training heavy as often as you can recover from it, right? Big compound movements, lots of food, lots of sleep. That's the 5 magic pillars to how I'm gaining strength. And that would work for anybody. And that's the funny part. Like anyone who's in denial of the fact that I'm doing that, I would ask those people, are you in denial that I eat a lot of food? And seriously. I'm not exactly ripped, guys. I don't think it's a big secret. I don't think it's a big stretch of the imagination that I'm eating a lot of food, right? Anybody believe that's possible? Yeah. Technically, YouTube is what I do for a living now. It's my main income. It's actually pretty decent. And all I have to do is train, deal with whatever other life stressors I have going on, my day-to-day business, grocery shopping, whatever socializing I want to do, work out, and sleep. So because of that, again, even people who say, man, I hate Jason, he's lazy. Are you denying that I lay around and sleep a lot? Are we going to deny the possibility of this? And I'm lifting pretty heavy as often as I can get away with it, which that's being proven on camera. So, in all honesty, it really shouldn't come as a big surprise or a big shock to anybody. The fact that a guy who's obviously training heavy with big compound movements on camera every day is probably eating a lot of food and laying around and sleeping a lot. Again, that would actually work for anybody. Even someone with terrible genetics would actually get pretty strong doing that eventually. And yeah, that could be done without even drugs. Like, you don't even need drugs to do that. So, guys, so when we talk about this stuff and people say, man, what if you're getting strong? I wish I could do that. Sure, you can. You're going to have to manage your life around it a bit. But here's where that comes down to the individual. Almost anybody out there, without the exception of maybe people with young children, I understand if you got a newborn baby, you expect your gains to go in the crapper a bit. That's going to happen if you got a newborn baby or something like that. But not everyone can sleep 9 or 10 hours a day, but most of you should be able to find a way to get 8 hours of sleep. And if you can't get 8 hours of sleep, you need to learn to wind down in the evening. You need to learn to turn your cell phones off, all your light off, keep your room cool and dark. Don't get so excited before bed. Drop the pre-workouts. Those things need to go, right? So you can get at least 8 hours. That's a big part of it. Eating lots of food. You can't be concerned with your chiseled abs year-round. When I say eat a lot of food, I don't mean you need to eat a lot of junk. I'm still eating a lot of food. I'm starting to lose a little bit of weight now, right? I'm eating a lot of food, guys. So I have no doubt about that. And what I would tell people is, when I say eat a lot of food, I don't mean you sit around eating junk food. Get a lot of protein in, get a lot of carbohydrates in, all right? Carbohydrates are your training fuel. And if you're worried about staying leaner, then fine, cut your fat a little bit. Don't eat very much fat. If you don't care about gaining fat, you just want that raw strength, you can eat a lot more fat. That's fine. That's fine. Because that's going to raise your total calories higher. But you also need to understand that fat is not necessarily going to help with recovery as much, building muscle tissue as much. It's not going to help with training fuel as much as the other two are. So eat a lot of protein and carbs if you want to gain strength. And if you guys are going to stand there and really restrict your food intake, then, obviously you're not going to gain strength anywhere nearly as quickly as you might like to. All right, and the guys who do that, there's usually drugs involved. That's a big difference right there. There's your dead giveaway. When you see a guy who's peeled, who's just gaining strength still while staying 9% body fat, that, other than a few genetically gifted guys, that's a good sign a guy might be using drugs. Particularly if he's big and full looking all the time. But, guys who are willing to eat more aren't going to restrict their food all the time. And some people still won't gain a lot of body fat doing that. Let's be honest here. But, food, that's a big part of it. Then back to the other point. Lifting as heavy as you can recover from it. All right, I do it 7 days a week. Right? And I'll get faster results as a result of doing that. We're starting to see that. It's coming around. Especially my last couple of workouts. I think we're getting a good idea of what's going on here. But you might not be able to do 7 days a week. Your life might not facilitate that. You might really have a busy job, a busy career. And if you don't have some gig like I have, then you probably do want that. And that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to be productive and have a good career and a good job that you like. Or a job that at least provides some valuable service to society that makes you a good living. You can provide for yourself, for your family. Hey, that's a good thing. I wouldn't knock that. I would say to most of you guys out there, don't trade that in for an extra 30 pounds on your bench press. Be realistic here. Priorities, people. But maybe your life is so busy that you can only do what I do 4 days a week. Right? You can come in and lift really heavy 4 days a week. And when I'm talking my Bulgarian style, now if a person doesn't want to do this training maxes all the time, you could do 3 days a week. You can get pretty strong doing full body 3 days a week. So again, comes back to what does your lifestyle allow for. But the Bulgarian style training, you want to do somewhere between 4 and 7 days. And that's kind of a big topic as to some of the downsides to the fewer days. In some cases, different, I'm not going to get started on that tangent. Possibility of higher injury, other stuff if you're not careful. But work it around your lifestyle. In my case, I can get away with it every day. You might not, but you could still get really strong if you can squeeze that in as many days as you can. Right? Lift as heavy as you can, as often as your recovery will allow for it. Now, the food and sleep are going to be part of that also. Focusing on big compound movements. Big compound movements make you stronger than isolation movements do. In fact, we have studies showing that isolation movements make you gain less strength than isolation movements and compound movements do. In other words, we've seen studies where they had people just do leg extensions and people just do squats. When they gained the same amount of muscle in their quads, the people who gained it doing squats gained the same amount of muscle in their quads, gained more strength on the leg extension machine than the guys who built the muscle using the leg extension machine. So in general, compounds are going to make you stronger. So always use a compound movement. And some people say, well, I have a certain muscle I want to bring up to help with this lift. I can't find a compound movement to do it. Sure you can. Be creative. There's a way to turn curls into a compound movement. If you want bigger biceps, because bigger, stronger biceps will help your chin up, and that's the reason you're doing it, and because your chin up, of course, will make your biceps bigger also. Let's say you're wanting to do some accessory movement. There are ways to do curls that are a compound movement. In fact, you see tons of guys doing that all the time. I'm going to go out on a limb and say strict isolation movements is not what you need to be doing at all if you want to get stronger. You need to find a way to turn everything into a safe compound movement. But focus on the big compound movements. Almost exclusively, if not exclusively, if you want to get stronger, guys. This isn't a difficult concept. There are no magic secrets. Train heavy as often as you can get away with. do big compound movements, eat a lot of food, get a lot of sleep. All right, it really is that simple. It can be more nuanced than that, but that really is the secret to getting strong. It really is. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.